This is such a fun project. You're going to need some masking tape, pencil, eraser and your paints. Now, my A4 pad, I've marked it into 4 and tear the sheet out. So this is going to be my card. So for example, if I want my card, that's where it's going to be. So I'm going to cut the paper here. This will be my fold line. So I'm going to paint here or here, whichever. And we're going to make a Christmas tree. So I think what I'd like is, I'll probably do some snow. I'll probably do a shape like this. I want to do nice bright colours. So let's sort of think like here, we'll paint here. So what we're looking for is enough space from the top so that we can paint a little star. So I want to start there and I want it to sort of come to about here and something like that. It doesn't matter if it's a bit wonky, something like that, and that will be the base of the tree. So it's really simple. It's a triangle with a little bit at the bottom. I've got my eraser for later on for when we want to rub out any pencil lines. I've got that to hand. I'll just pop that there. And then we're going to use the masking tape and we're just going to put the masking tape onto our paper. Here we go. So put these on the top, like so. We'll work a little bit higher up. So I've got my tape here. Just going to plonk that bit there. It doesn't matter that there's a little bit of a line showing. Now, I can either do one piece of tape here or I can do a couple. I quite like it if there's a bit of a wonky section. I don't really want them too straight all the time. So I quite like it when the tree's got a little bit of a wobble on it. But that's just me. You might want yours nice and straight like this one. So I'm going to put another piece there. And another piece here. So just slightly off the triangle so that it's not a complete, lovely, neat triangle. So that's where my tree is going to be. And the first thing I'm going to do is put my first layer of colour. Any colour you like. So a round brush, dip it into the paint. I kind of want it lovely and bright. So my themes, I'm going to put some pink, I'm going to put turquoise. You can stick with greens. The midnight green works really well. This lovely sunlit green looks fabulous with a turquoise. It's whatever you fancy really. So pink, why not? I'm going to go for a bit of pink here. And I'm just going to start dropping in. I'll put some quite bright pink in parts and I'll just let them mix and merge. And I don't even mind if I leave some gaps and it doesn't quite go everywhere. But what I want is, I want this idea that it's pinker, darker in some areas than others. So I'm quite happy with that. And that, as simple as it is stage 1. And we need to let that dry. Very simple. Now that that's dry, we can see there's some lovely textures on here which I want to keep. So I'm going to, I think, do this type of effect, which is putting another layer of interest on the top of it. I'm going to use the pointer brush and midnight green. So a completely different colour combination from any of these because it's about experimenting and having fun. So into my midnight green. Nice and dark. That's going to look lovely with the pink. I'm also going to put some turquoise in this, but let's just do the midnight green first. And we'll do some leaves, I think, coming across. But I'm going to look at with the bits I want to keep. So quite like these little bits. They look like baubles on the tree, don't they? So I'm going to keep those. I might have a leaf coming across here. So let's do a press and lift. That will go off onto the tape, which is what we want. Then we might want to have another little stem coming down here and another leaf coming out here. It's a question of just looking at what's on the paper, what patterns you've got and how you want to adapt that. I want to keep these white bits, I like that. Now I might do a couple of lines now, so quite quick, just these little lines going across. Maybe one here. So the pointer brush is quite good for this. Now, I don't want to take it right the way across, but I might do maybe one from here. It's looking at what you've got and just thinking, oh, what would look good on that? Maybe I might even take that through there, because it will end up just being a pattern in the end. You won't even notice this. So, oh, do I want more? I think I do. I think I want another little leaf here. Quite like that. It's definitely a nice flow on that. So now I can work on putting some turquoise on this. So it's, as I say, we're looking at something like this. So clean the brush out. Now I don't want just the turquoise, I want white with it, because I'd quite like it to be kind of a creamy colour. So here's dipped into the white. Now you can see there's a little bit of, it's almost a turquoise colour, very, very pale, from what's left in the brush with the green. So I quite like this. So let's see what this looks like. It's very, very pale. And I might just do some little leaves. Let's just do some little markers here. I like this. So just place the brush. Oh yes, I like that. Very pale, just gently. So we don't need to join everything up even. We just want to give the impression. Some leaves here. Oh yes, I like that. That looks lovely against the pink. And I like the contrast between the paler colour and the dark colour. But this is going to look better on the dark sections. So if I was to put some here, so let's just put a bit there, you'll barely notice that. It doesn't mean not to, it just means just be aware that you're going to notice this colour more on the darker pink. So this is still wet, that's okay. I think I'd quite like to put some more of these leaves elsewhere. So it's just about thinking about where you'd like to put them. Right, I might do it. Let's put another little one, maybe here, little leaf here, and then just place the brush, place the brush, place the brush, little stem here. That's quite nice. Then we might do some little baubles, like those. Those are nice. Okay, so that's our next layer. So once we get to this, we have to think if we want a layer on top of this. So I need a little something in the middle here, I think. So I might just put a line here, literally just a line. So do you see how built up this looks? And it's because there's another layer on top, look, that's been drizzled on the top. So we're going to let that dry, take another look at it, and probably put another layer on the top. You could leave it at that, but it is quite nice to build this up so that it looks quite complicated. I think what is particularly nice, if you can't make out how it's been painted, so some of them are quite simple. You can see the layers in this one, but this one is far more complicated, as is this one. It appears to be so, but it's actually not. It's quite a simple process. It's just the patience of letting your layers of watercolour dry. So we'll let that dry and then come back to it and see what we fancy doing. So now that that's dry, we can put another layer on the top. And I really like the bright sunlit green, and I want to put some marks across it, sort of like this. I just want some dynamic marks across it, really. So first of all, I'm going to mix the colour, because I'm going to show you two ways that we can do this. So I'm going to mix it in here, a little bit of the sunlit green. So initially it looks quite dark, but it's going to look very bright on this. And it's going to look bright because I'm going to put the tiniest amount of gouache with it. I just have to make it a little bit opaque so that, and it'll make this gouache a little bit grubby, but it doesn't matter. We don't need a lot of it, and it'll still dry very, very bright. Okay, so I like that colour. That is good. When that goes on top of the pink, it'll look really nice. So leave my brush there. Now I'm going to use a fan brush. However, there's a couple of ways we can do this. I'm going to just show you, we'll just use this colour here to show you this, because I've got this colour already mixed and I don't want to use it up. So if I just explain, I'm going to just put the tip of the fan, this is the Van Gogh brush, I'm just going to put the tip in, just the tip. And then on a spare sheet of paper here, I'm just going to explain. All I'm going to do is drag it across like this. So we get these lovely lines because I'm only dipping the tip, and I'm going to use it just to make these lines, and I'm going to make some nice swirly patterns. So this is how I've done this here with the Van Gogh brush. However, squeeze that out because I don't want that colour. Make sure that's nice and dry. However, you could equally use a feather. So it's not the same. I know it's not going to be exactly the same, but you can use it. You're just going to get the edge of the feather, put it in the paint. So there's the feather in the paint, and then you can literally make some lines across the paper with the feather. So you don't, if you've got a Van Gogh brush, brilliant. If you haven't, that's your alternative. Just an ordinary feather. Okay, into the Van Gogh brush. Just take off that moisture because I only want the tip of it in this colour, and it's going to look quite bright, and I may want to dip some extra colour in as I go along, so I'll have that brush ready. Don't really want that wet either. So into this gorgeous strong colour, just the tip, and then I'm just going to move it across. So let's do a little section here, starting off and then on, off, ooh, and that will sit quite nicely. I like that. It doesn't have to make sense, because when we take the tape off, you just got these lovely bits of colour. But I do love this colour. Don't overdo it. I quite like this little bit of light. That's nice. I might even put some turquoise on that. And that's all I'm going to do. So basically, it's really simple, just like that. But you can make lovely curved marks. I love this. This is a really lovely texture effect. So that's all I'm going to do. You can see little hints of the colour. We're going to keep some of this colour because I want to put some little balls on the top. So clean the brush out. Leave that brush there. Okay, the other thing that we can do is we can lift. And when we're lifting colour, I'm going to use a little bit of kitchen paper at the ready. I'm going to use my pointer brush without any paint in it. And then, so say we've got some little sections here that are light. Say I wanted a light section here. I would just literally do that, press that down, and you've got a little white bauble, really. These are going to represent little baubles. So I'm just going to do another little one here. Easy. And maybe another little one here. Easy. So you can lift sections. Obviously you can put more little baubles on the top. Any more? Might do another little one here. And then press. So you can put white baubles on really easily. So once it's dry, it's fairly dry, I'm going to peel the tape off. Now when you're peeling the tape off, peel away from your picture. All these little, oh, I love doing this. I tell you, this is such fun. Don't worry about little sections like this. Just peel the tape off. I just think when this comes off and you look at it, you think, oh my goodness, I wasn't quite expecting that. Because the tape kind of, it gives you a completely different feel of what it looks like. Oh, love that. That's such fun. Now, I can see there's a pencil line around the outside, and I don't really want that. So somewhere here it is. I've got my eraser. So I'm just going to just clean up the outer edge with the point of my eraser. So I can just flatten it like that to make a nice little edge and go right up to the edge here. That's where our stalk's going to be, our little tree trunk. So you just neaten it up. Okay. Now, when we embellish this, so I'm going to put the little base on, I've got to think about what colour I want. But also, do I want, for example, we've got the little balls on the outside, which I quite like this. I do like this. There's also the little lines. Those I've done with the pointer brush, and I've literally just touched the paper. So they look like stitching almost. That's quite a nice idea around the outside. Little circles, that's a nice idea. There's also, I don't know if you can see in the light on this, big blobs of snow on the background and on this one, but they're very pale. So there's a mixture on this one. So there's lots of ideas. I'm going to cover these little sections here up with some white gouache at the end, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I'm first going to think a star. I'm going to put a star on, and then I'm going to put the base on. The star, I'm going to use this colour here because it's kind of a golden colour, and I don't draw it. I'm just going to put at the top of the star, sort of here, and then we've got that section. So they're usually 5-pointed, but don't worry if yours ends up 7 or 6. So that's our little star. Oh, I like that already. I kind of feel with this now I want to put these little balls on like this, so that they're like baubles. So I'm going to do that. So I want maybe one there. It kind of goes with the style that I've already done on this, and I quite like that. Put another one here. I do love this colour with the pink. I think it's fab. Again, it really just, it depends what you like. I'm going to put the base on, and I'm going to use the midnight green, but I'm going to drop in some pink. So first of all, I'm going to put the tree trunk on. It was a little bit to the right, but I'm going to move it. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to make it longer and narrower than I originally had it drawn. So something like that. A little bit wonky. I quite like that. And whilst that's just settling into the paper, I'm just going to take the majority of the water off my brush, so not the tip, just roll it, and put that into the pink. So I want some quite strong pink. It's not going to come off the brush easy, so a little bit more water. And then I'm just going to add some pink to this and just tap, 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 but only on the one side. And this will give it this lovely sort of mauvey, yeah, just a nice colour. It'll just change the green. So a little bit of the pink gone in there. So back to this pink, because I think I'm going to put some little pink baubles on this tree as well. So maybe one there, one there. Make them a little bit uneven. You don't want it to look too even. Quite like that. Okay, so I quite like that. Then, do we want snow? Now, I quite like these little bits of snow. I think they're rather nice, but on this one, we haven't got any snowflakes really on the front of it. It's what you like, really, from the design point of view. I do like them. I do like those little pale blobs. So let's just put a few on and see if we like them. If we don't, we can always take them off. We can always quickly lift it. So rather that you have a go. But I quite like the big blobs like this, almost like little marks with a brush. So these, I think, can look quite nice. And they break up the white background. Of course, you can put nice, neat little rounds on like this, little balls. You can put neat ones on if you want. Okay. And then finally, I just need to cover up the pink. Now, you can either try and lift the pink. So if I just agitate this pink like this, try not to jiggle my table too much. It might even lift. Yes, that's going to lift. So sometimes, rather than you adding gouache, white gouache to cover something up, first see if you can lift it before the gouache, before trying the gouache. That's better, because it does look better if you can remove it rather than add to it. And basically that's it. Really simple. Lovely little Christmas tree. You then cut this out. You can use a scalpel on a cutting mat or a pair of scissors. This is your fold line. Just fold it, press it. A good tip for you if you're folding is you get your rule, and with a tool such as, it needs to be a blunt tool, just mark it, score it slightly. So you could use the end of a paintbrush. You could do, ideally you want something like, I mean, I have embossing tools, but if you don't have anything like that, for example, you get something like the end of a pair of scissors, and you just score that, and that's enough so that when you fold the card, it folds really neatly down that line. So it's really, really simple. Anyway, so Christmas trees, have fun, use as many techniques as you like, and yeah, try as many different colour combinations as you fancy. Enjoy.